Nickeil, welcome to Atlanta, man. What went into your decision overall to come down here and join the Hawks?
Thank you. And honestly, had a few good talks with Trey, thinking about it, sitting down with my agents, some prayers. All in all, I felt like the situation at hand with the trade that they made for KP, T-Man had left, and so I looked at it as there's room in my role where I could come in, be a defender when Trey needs one, come in and kind of run the show, get guys involved, playmaker, on ball, off ball. Versatility has been my thing, but also wanting to be in an area where I can contribute to winning and grow in a role where, as a player, I can have more opportunity on and off the ball, defensively and offensively as well, to be a leader on both sides. And felt like Atlanta just kind of ticked every box for me.
Hey, Nickeil. Onsi talked a bit on Friday about development and mentioned you as a guy that had the opportunity to grow and develop. You touched on some of the things you saw could help your game grow, but how do you hope that pairing up with Quinn Snyder again can maybe unlock some more tools that maybe you didn't even know were in your bag?
I think for me it's exciting just because I know the type of basketball mind that Quinn is. And he's very, very dedicated to his craft, and he's always trying to find a way to improve. And you can't really perfect basketball. And so that's an amazing thing to have from a coach, where he's always trying to better himself in some way, offensively, defensively, trying to find ways to compete and win. And myself being eager to grow, to learn, embracing the process of, for me to try to perfect my craft, there's going to be things along the way I can take and learn. And so the fact that Quinn's always essentially one step ahead in that, and as a coach creating systems with the talent that he has and the group that we have, for him to find ways to implement me, for me to continue to grow in my weaknesses so that it makes it easier on him and everybody else.
Nickeil, welcome to Atlanta. I know you obviously were coming from Minnesota, where you played with Anthony Edwards, who's went to Georgia, went to high school here in Atlanta. I'm wondering if you talked to him at all about what to expect here in the city and what he's told you about the culture here in Atlanta.
Atlanta, a little bit. You know, he said I was going to love it when he was very happy for me, and everybody in Minnesota was. They spoke highly of the city. I went to high school in Chattanooga, so I'm fairly familiar with the area, so to speak. And I was just excited, all in all, since being here, the food, the weather, I'm enjoying it.
Nickeil, right here. You're joining a team with a runner-up Defensive Player of the Year in Dyson Daniels. Do you think playing alongside him can help push you to even become a better defender than you already are?
100%. I mean, at Dyson's young age, and we've seen what opportunity can do for him and how he flourished with that opportunity. For me, I can learn from anybody. And with the success he's had defensively and some of the instincts that he has in terms of just getting steals, for me, I pride myself in just on-ball defense, getting stops and making things difficult. Dyson is able to turn people over at a high level and a high rate, and that's something I could definitely add to my game. Whether that's blocking shots, reading things, you know, the way he sees it, his approach to defense, I respect it.
Hey, Nickeil, you're coming from a team, of course, that made the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. What are some things that I guess you can take from that experience and bring to the Hawks?
Just understanding in the 2 years that we made it, it was two different seasons. One where we got off hot, we stayed hot, and we were able to continue that momentum into the playoffs. One where we had to figure it out with the trade and new roles and having a new dynamic of a team, but we stuck together, figured it out at the right time. I think we finished the season at like 17-4, and then we were able to avoid the play-in, and then we got it going. Before OKC, we were like 8-2, and so when you look at that, that's what, 25-6. to get into the conference final. So we were able to kind of figure that out. For me, the one thing that I've learned from that is there's always a way to get to success. And you can start hot, you can figure it out. But the one thing that I learned is everyone bought in, committed to each other, and playing a role when we needed it. Stars were stars, role players were role players. And everyone had a common goal in mind. And I think that connectivity within the team and with the tools that we have and that we went out and did in this off season, as long as we stay healthy and as long as everyone has the same common goal in mind, I think that'll help us.
Nickeil, similar to Dyson when he first came in last year, there was a lot of talk about him on the defensive side of the ball. And then we got some chance to see him do some things that were kind of unexpected on the offensive side. What are some of the things that you maybe have within your offensive bag that you maybe didn't get a chance to show when you were in Minnesota that you hope to be able to show here in Atlanta? Forgive me for the two-part question. I guess the second part is that do you have any familiarity from some of your playing time growing up with anybody on this particular roster?
Well, to the first part, for me, my goal is to be as complete of a basketball player as I can be. And I've been working a lot on the areas I can improve in. Shooting off the move, off the bounce, not just becoming a corner specialist, so to speak, getting into the paint, making the right reads when I get there. For me, the issue wasn't getting to the paint. James White and I, for the past 2 years in Minnesota, we had set a game plan and a focus to become a better finisher, mid-range guy, and I was able to do that. But there's areas I can still improve, and I've just been owning in on those things and becoming a 3-level scorer for me. It's something I've done growing up all throughout high school, and for me, playing defense was a way to survive. And now the world sees me as a great defender, but I feel like I'm a complete basketball player, and not perfect, but I got ways to grow and to learn, and I'm embracing that. And secondly, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. I played against Trey. I want to say it was the FIBA Americas in Chile or something. And from high school, being in the same class as him, seeing the trajectory he had, and for myself to the trajectory I was on at that time, and then just our careers just played out differently. But I think that continuity of knowing that Trey's always been a guy who can go get you 30 and 10, 25 and 10, whatever it is. And so, playing with guys like Shea growing up, having to play on and off the ball, that's something I'm familiar with.
Nickeil back here again. Very different roster than a year ago for this Atlanta Hawks team with all the new additions. Seems like an improved roster. What do you think are fair expectations for this team to have, with it being a young team but also a team with some championship level experience?
I think what's fair is to come out to compete every night, to focus on one day at a time. I think what makes the expectation and goals attainable is just going to be the approach that we have. I think everyone's focused on individually and collectively getting better. So as long as we stay along those lines, you kind of stumble into success because you're living a life that leads you to it. When I look at how I got here, it was from working hard, staying faithful, staying true to the grind through the ups and downs, and then eventually it pays off. And so for us to focus on where we want to get to and actually obtaining those things, and whatever the city may feel, because we got a different roster and a lot of great guys on the team, I think we got to block out all the noise and take it one day at a time. You look too far ahead, you trip. You look too far back, you walk into something. So it's just about what's in front of us. What do we have to do, and use those lessons of what's at hand to get better.
Hey, Nickeil, you spoke a little bit about being able to toggle on and off the ball when you're on offense, and you'll be part of a committee, especially when Trey's off the floor, whether it's Luke Kennard, Dyson, even Jalen Johnson handling the ball. How comfortable do you feel operating in that sort of system, especially because you were sort of the de facto backup point guard for Minnesota, especially in the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. And even guys like Veet and Keaton, just what they do. And getting to see Veet when he was in Minnesota's training camp before he got injured. But honestly, playing with these guys as well since I've been back has helped. But I'm excited just because I feel like we have versatility within our lineups as well, to where we can mix it up in a lot of different ways and have multiple points of attack. And you look at teams that were successful and made it to the finals, each team had multiple points of attack. OKC, Indiana, and from one thing I've learned, back to his question, from just the past 2 years, was you're going to need depth to make runs in the playoffs. And those 2 years with Minnesota, we had a tremendous depth, and that helped. And so for us, is to utilize all of the weapons that we have and to find a way to utilize it where everybody can be their best selves together. Thank you.